All right, Counterman's Theory Trader back with you with another video on a deep study on how traders are using prop firms to pay their bills. Deep study, let's get into it. The obvious disclaimer, trading is risky. The odds of success are very slim. And also as well, prop firms can shut down at any time. So this is not financial advice. So this is what we're going to cover. What prop firm should you use? Knowing the rules, beating the consistency rule for consistent profits, instant funding versus one-phase challenge accounts, pros and cons of those, a tale of two traders, and some bonus tips for you. So first things first, what prop firm should you use? Number one, avoid new firms. They're a dime a dozen. They pop up often. They give you discounts. No, you need a track record. Try to find a prop firm that's been in business for at least 2 years or more. There's a great resource called propfirmmatch.com. You can check reviews. You can join the discords that these companies have. Look at their customer service. Look at their responsive. Test them. See if they are legit. Okay, to the best of your ability. Now, as well, though, I do not recommend, if you're going to try this, using a two-phase challenge. I recommend either doing instant funding or a one-phase challenge, strictly because of time. Okay, strictly because of time. And as well, never pay full price for an account. Find coupon codes that you can use. You can just Google it. All right, so now let's talk about knowing the house's rules. Every firm is different. Okay, every prop firm is different. You need to know the things like if a firm has consistency rules, what are the max lot sizes you can trade? Are you allowed to trade news? What's the minimum amount of time that it takes that you can hold a trade? Some companies say you have to hold the trade for at least 2 minutes. Some might be 5 minutes. You never know because they discourage scalping in like mere seconds. So it just depends. What's the minimum amount of money you can request for a payout? Okay, before you spend your money, you need to know these details. All right. Do you have to know everything about the service? No, but you need to know these types of things at a bare minimum. Okay, so and you'll learn, but you'll need to know these because if you break one of their rules, they can deny your payout. All right, because you broke a rule. So reach out to support, ask questions. Oftentimes they will respond to you, and just make a Google Doc because every firm has different rules. So you need to specialize and know which firm you're dealing with and what they allow, what they don't allow. So how do you beat the rule that kept me out of props? Okay, and that's the consistency rule. That's the main reason why I did not mess with props for the longest time. Okay, so the consistency rule is in essence your best day. And once you know how to trade your best day, then the consistency rule just it becomes no problem. Here's how you have to treat it. The best way to treat it is to just trade 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio when you set your best day. Now, let's say if your best day is $20, you might not be satisfied with that. But let's say you have a good trading day and your best day is $180. All right, so that's your highest amount that you've made in one trading day. And you have an account that has, say, a 20% consistency rule. And so what you have to do is stay below $180 every single time that you trade. Make sure that you stay around, I would say 170 or less. Have a buffer in there over the next 5 days to get a payout, keeping in mind all the other rules, okay, as well. So uh, to keep it moderate is your best bet because if you break a new high, it's like starting all over. Okay, you're free to have bigger best days when your account's bigger. But if you make $1,000 on a $10,000 account, that's a disaster because what you've done is you've gotten 10% on your account. It's going to be very hard to get 10% on account every single day. That's $10,000. Okay. But if you set a $1,000 best day on a $100,000 account, that's 0.01% gain. That's a little more doable. All right. So your best day has to be in relation to your account balance and keeping it fairly moderate. Have an easy target to hit. Now, while I know that everyone doesn't trade 1-to-1, this is what I would also recommend. This is not on the slide, but I'll throw this at you. Let's say if your best day is 180. All right. What you can do then is you can either trade a 1-to-1, doing like you could say 100, 100, risk 100 to make 100, or you can do a 2-to-1 and you can risk 90 to make, well, let's say you can risk 70 to make 140, something like that. But I would not try to get near the 180. And really, like I said, 1-to-1, I promise you'll see better results with that. I would strongly recommend just stick to 1-to-1, keep it simple. But this video isn't so much about trading as much as it is risk management. So 1-to-1, you'll see your best results. So let's take a look at an example here, just a rough example, how it could look. So let's say if a trader has a best day of 180, again, he or she knows, okay, I need to stay below this amount because if I beat it, it's like starting all over, okay? So best day number one is 180. And then next day, profitable day, they get 165, 140. You can read all that, etc. So at the end of your 5 profitable days, and these don't have to be in a row, okay? But once you reach a decent profit target and you beat the consistency rule, you've gotten about $775 in profit based on this example. And if there's an 80% split, you'll make $620. Okay, so there you go. That's money that you didn't have before. Now, as I said, it's best to trade one to one, and as well, it's best to take one position at a time. Because if you take multiple entries on a trade, and let's say price shoots up and really goes into your favor heavy, you might run the risk of setting a new record. And if you do that, you're going to have to start over and you're going to have to keep trading just to get a payout. That is not the boat that you want to be in. Okay, so again, just stay below whatever your best day is. That will automatically take care of the consistency rule. If you don't like to deal with an issue like this, it's always fine to just trade your own account with a broker, and then you can go as wild as you want. Okay, so you stack those entries and try to go for what you know. So now let's take a look at comparing and contrasting one-phase challenge accounts with instant funding accounts. Okay, these are company dependent. So each prop firm sets different rules for these instant funding and one-phase challenge accounts. So if you're looking at an instant funding account, here are some of the pros. Number one, of course, obviously, there's no challenge. Okay, you're automatically on day one. You are trading for money. You're trading for a payout. You're not. You set your own goals. Okay, you can get instant payouts and payouts on demand, but again, that's only if you meet the consistency rule. You're not trading for free. That's a big deal. Okay, and as well, you get to set your own profit with the quote unquote best day. Okay, so if your best day is if you want it to be $200, and then you just set a $200 daily goal. So if you can get it $200 a day for 5 days, you'll meet the consistency rule. All right, if it's 20%, okay, it's going to be different if it's 15. Now the cons though with instant funding accounts, the consistency rules, the best I have found for an instant funding account has been 20%. Okay, which is about 5 days, but it could be a week or more until you get a payout. There is more. It can be more upfront costs. Typically, instant funding accounts are more expensive. As well, they do oftentimes have lower drawdown, and as well, sometimes they have lower profit splits as well. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. So, if you do a one-phase challenge account, it does have some pros. It has either no consistency rule once you're really funded, or it has a better consistency rule. I've seen as high as 40%. That's the best rule I've seen. Okay, which could be about 3 days until you get a payout. Okay. A lot of times, challenge accounts, once you pass, they do offer more drawdown. There is a lower upfront cost if you do the challenge route, and it does have a higher profit split sometimes. Okay, sometimes. Now, some cons with that, though, you could stay in the evaluation phase longer than you expect. And what you're doing at that point is you are actually trading for free. If you get 10% on a challenge account, well, that's good. You're not seeing any of that profit. All right. You got to wait for your live account and then do it all again. All right. And as well, if you lose the challenge, those challenge fees can add up with more and more failed accounts. Okay. Because you will not win every challenge you take. So, be aware of that. You have to decide what is best for you. I'm not making any recommendations. I just want to put the two tasks before you, like a red pill and a blue pill. You pick. Okay. So let's take a look at a tale of two traders. We're going to take a look at Mark. Now, Mark, after doing his research, decides he's going to go the instant funding route. Okay, he wants to do that. He does want to do a challenge. He buys an instant funding account for $81. Now, I base these rates and these rules on a real company, but I'm not going to name them because I'm not recommending any companies in this. I'm not an affiliate for anybody. That's just not how I choose to make money. Okay, so, but he buys an instant funding account for $81. Okay, he's got a $10,000 account. He has $600 worth of drawdown, which is 6% of the account, and the most he can lose on a day is $300. He has a 20% consistency rule. Now, Mark's plan is as follows. He wants to set a best day of about $130, and then he'll try to trade one for one on $110 per day. That's about where he wants to be. So here's how his trading can look. This is all just hypothetical, but obviously. Okay, so day one, he actually has a losing day. Day three, he wins $138 total profit. Okay, so that's his best day. So he's satisfied with that best day. So now his goal is to stay below $138 so he can meet the 20% consistency rule. Okay. So the next day is a losing day. The next day he wins 111. The next day he wins about 70. You can read all this, yada, 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 day 9, all the way to day 9. So when he finishes, he takes $10,000 and he brings it up to $11,185 after he finishes 9 days worth of trading on his instant funding account. No challenge, just straight income out the gate. Okay, keeping in mind the consistency rule. So once he finishes that amount, he's satisfied with it. His total profit is $1185, and the firm he's working with has an 80% profit split. So he's going to take home $948 in take-home pay in 9 days. Okay, that's not bad. Okay, it's not bad at all for a side hustle. Now let's meet one more trader. We have here Leah. So Leah does her research. She's going to go the one phase challenge route. Okay, so she buys a $10,000 challenge for $66. It's worth $10,000. She has 6% drawdown. Which is $600. Max daily loss 3%. You can see all that. But with her deal, she has to make 10% before she can get live funds. But once she gets live funding, she does not have a consistency rule. Okay, so the firm that she's dealing with has no consistency rule once you pass a challenge. So Leah wants to pass the challenge as quickly as possible. She has to trade for at least 3 trading days with the firm she's dealing with. So she wants to pass in 5 days. It trades 1-to-1. So her challenge is as follows. So these are just some hypothetical numbers. She's risking, about 120 per trade on a 1-to-1. She has about a 60% win rate. So she'll take 3 trades, win 2, lose 1. So you see some of the gains and losses here overall. And, eventually, though, she gets to the 10% in about, 10 days. You can pause to look at this, look at some of her numbers and some of her returns. Just real basic. Basically, it's nothing crazy. She's not making like $500 in a day and all that type of stuff. Okay. So, but she's a very disciplined, talented trader, and she just, went for it. So she got it. Now, once she passed the challenge, she trades until she reaches another 10% on her account. Okay. So obviously 10% of 10,000 is 1,000. And with an 85% profit split, she would be able to make a withdrawal of $850. But the thing is, once she gets her live account, she does not change anything with her trading style at all. She trades the exact same. So these types of numbers right here are both in the challenge and in her live funded account. Okay, after she passes the challenge. So let's take a look at these two traders side by side and just look at their numbers, because it's important if you're running a business to know the money you put in and the money you get out. So Mark invested $81, Leah invested $66. They both got the same amount of drawdown. And how long did it take for them to actually get their money back? Mark, it took him about 9 days, all live, to meet the consistency rule. Again, these are all hypothetical. It might take you 20 days. There's no predictor. Some days the market does not do what you want it to do. Okay, so it is what it is. But for Mark, it took him about 9 days to beat his 20% consistency rule. He made $948, which is a return on investment of 1,070%. Because if you take $81 and then you grow it to $948, okay, that's a return of over 1,000%. With Leah, it took her 10 days to get her payout. Okay, she could have got paid in one with her challenge, but she wanted to grow it to get a decent payout. She got $850. But she started with 66. See, her upfront cost was less than Mark, so her return was greater at over 1,000, over 1,100%, 1,187% is what she got. Okay, so that's that. Now, I also just wanted to throw this in as well for an account with a person who was just traded a small account. So this person here, they did start with more money than both of these people. They had a freedom to use a broker, and they can get paid any day they want if they had a broker. But for this person to grow $100 into $1,000 would be a 900% return, which it's possible. It's just not very likely. And it's more of an upfront cost. Okay, because they had to come out of pocket 100, and they pretty much had to be really on point to be sure that they can get to this amount of money. All right. Versus these people, they started with more drawdown. They did have to wait longer to get a payout, but less of a downside. Right. So again, you have to weigh these options for yourself to see which one looks most appealing to you. You have to play by the broker's rule, though. So weigh that out for yourself. So planning long term, because obviously you don't have to have just one trading account if you choose the prop firm route. Mark chooses to reinvest into his trading business until he has several $100,000 accounts worth $6,000 of drawdown each. Okay, so his money is invested per account is about $500. So at $500 a pop, he can get about $6,000 worth of drawdown. Okay, so he always sets his best day target around $700. Okay, and then he trades the account until he can make about $3,000 plus in payouts. Okay, so he just trades 1-to-1 at $700 per. Okay, until he can reach his goal and then request a payout while he stays inside the consistency rule. So if you're trading the instant funded route, you want to get to the point where you set a decent best day rule. So what's the dream amount that you would want to make in a day? And then just trade that. But of course, number one, your account has to be big enough to do that. Okay. So you're not going to, if you set a $700 best day account on a best day rule on a $10,000 account, you keep in mind, they're going to have lot size limits on you. You have a max day loss. The odds just aren't in your favor. The account has to be big enough to account your best day desire. So that's not going to be really possible with a small account. You have to have a bigger account if you want to have a big best day. All right. So just keep that in mind if you want to take the path that Mark took. For Leah has 4 $100,000 one phase challenge accounts. Her money is invested per account at about $500. So at about $500, she can get a $100,000 account. and she has about $24,000 in total drawdown. Okay, so with her $400,000 in funding, because she has four $100,000 accounts, what she does is she copy trades them. If you don't know what copy trading is, there's other videos on that. But you can use a service, which is a trade copier, and you can have like a master account and you can copy all your trades onto all the accounts that you have. And in that way, what she's doing is risking $500 per account, very small, on a one-to-one basis. So she'll risk 500 to make 500, but she's doing it on four different accounts on a one-to-one because she doesn't need a lot of money. She figures if I can make 2 grand a day and pull it out, I'm good. So when she wins, when she risks 500 to make 500 and she wins across four accounts, that's $2,000. Okay, before the profit split, I did not throw that in there. Okay, that's before the profit split. But then when she pulls that out, she's making thousands of dollars per profitable trading day, and her risk of blowing the account is very minimal because $500 out of 24,000 is nothing. Okay, that's nothing. Okay, so she's always staying within that real comfortable, low risk area in order to make sure that she can preserve her accounts, continue trading, and just live the life that she wants. Live life on her own terms. Okay, so that's the thing. Now, word to the wise though, if you choose to go this route, keep in mind that should you use a trade copier and you blow one account, you blow them all because they're all doing this. They're all taking the same positions. So some people don't copy trade. They'll trade one account at a time, get a payout on that one, and then rotate to another one. So that is another option as well. So some bonus tips for you. You really have to learn to think like a hedge fund manager, not necessarily like a trader. So risk management really has to be your obsession, not taking trades. Okay. Now, another mistake that a lot of people make is to size up once they pass their challenge. Don't do that. Okay, live accounts, if you pass your challenge, that's not the time to go big and start taking all these crazy risks. Keep doing whatever made you pass the challenge. Okay. If you want to be risky during the challenge, but do not be risky with those live accounts that you get. Request payouts often. Don't let your profits just sit there. Firms can and do close. Okay. Sometimes they get shut down. You never know what tomorrow can bring. So get your money while you can. And really treat this like a job. Set your hours. Have a concrete trading plan. Okay. Know what you're doing. Okay. So in conclusion, whatever you plan, don't worry if it takes you longer than you anticipate. Even if it takes you weeks or months to get your first payout, it'll still be more money than you put in. Okay. I promise you that. And as you get more accounts, the payouts can come quicker. Prop firms, there are a dime a dozen. Don't be so obsessed and fixated with one that you give them all your business. You need to shop around, make them compete for your money. Okay. And if any of them give you any type of trouble, you need to walk. If you see where they're starting to like deny payouts of numerous traders, I would stop doing business with them, quite frankly. Okay. Or if they deny you a payout and you know you followed all their rules, don't do business with them anymore. Find somebody else. Okay. Now, you're always free to trade a personal account if this doesn't agree with you or doesn't align with your financial goals for your trading business. This isn't the best. This may not be the best option for you. Maybe you have enough money that you can start with a $10,000 account. If you have $10,000 just disposable that you can just throw into a trading account, and you know what you're doing, maybe you don't want to use a prop firm. Okay, maybe you're just fine just managing it for yourself. That is more than fine. Okay, so blown accounts and challenge fees, they can add up quick. Okay, failing challenge after challenge after challenge, maybe that money should just go into a personal account and you can manage it the way you see fit. Okay, so lastly, one-to-one risk reward is the best way to beat the consistency rule. That's the main thing that you have to watch out for. Large wins are going to kill your chances of getting a payout if there is a consistency rule. So I would say the main rule you need to be aware of is the consistency rule and knowing how it works. If you want to get big wins, save that for your personal account. Okay. Do not try to do it on a prop firm account with a consistency rule. If your big day is so large that it's very hard to duplicate, it's almost like blowing the account in reverse. You've made so much money that it's impossible to duplicate that success in short order. You're just stuck trading the account constantly over and over until you can try to bring that average down. It's not an easy thing to do. So again, I know it's counterintuitive to want to cap the money that you make when you're trading, but if you want to play this game, you got to know the rules and stay within those parameters. Okay. It's no different than driving down a road and just doing the speed limit. Yeah, you may want to do 90 miles an hour, but if you do 65, you're going to get there, same destination, and you're going to get there more safely. All right. So you just got to play by the rules. It is what it is. Okay. But if you don't like that, just do a broker and deal with your own money. Either way is fine. So I appreciate your time and attention. Hope you got something out of this. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day. Take care.